Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. Hold on tight. Get ready.
Hey folks, this is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 2nd of July. And, lots of things going on, folks. Lots of things going on, you know. And I say that all the time, but it's true. It really is true, and I find it incredibly odd. Sorry, I'm multitasking. I find it incredibly odd that we have people who actually do not really give a crap about what's going on. I mean, here we are. We just had a decision the other day, Monday, as a matter of fact, from the Supreme Court in favor of Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby does cover in some of their, benefits, birth control to the degree that they feel is best for the company. It has nothing to do with women's rights. It has nothing to do with a woman, blah, 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 blah. Kiss my ass. It has everything to do with the right of the company to distribute or to, not really distribute, that's the wrong word, but to really hold to their religious convictions, because the owners are Christian, and 2, to give the best possible benefits to their people who they pay very well. Now, regardless, there's going to be so much disinformation out there that it's going to take a very smart individual to dig through all that bullcrap and to tell you the truth. And the truth is, the court decision was the correct one. Now, you also have to look at this aspect of it. 9 members of the United States Supreme Court. 9. 5 of them in favor of Hobby Lobby. And 4 of them bleeding heart liberals that really don't give a crap. Okay? And I'll tell you why. And here's the bottom line. Women, shut your big damn pie holes, because it's not about you. It's about religious rights. Okay? Now, of course, look at this. Now, I know I'm harsh. I know that some people might call me an ass because, you're disrespectful to women. No, my mama would kick my ass. But she would also look at the women and say, shut your big damn pie hole, because it's not about women's rights. My mama came from an era that you stuck up for yourself. And my mama does that quite well, thank you very much. And most of your mothers do the same thing. So, I know that most people agree with this decision. But I also know most women are very pissed off at the fact and have got this preconceived, deluded idea in their head that all that decision is against them. It isn't, because it's not. There you go. Stop manufacturing your little battles out of your own little preconceived ideas in your own little cookie-cutter world, and start using some common sense for what it's worth, to find the truth in the facts and start digging through all this stuff and actually see what's going on. Oh, but I bet you'll stand behind, Roe versus Wade, who now, the woman who started all that is now a pro-lifer. Hello. So, I'll be back after this. Jeez. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Free America Radio Network. Prepare yourself for the unexpected. Have an emergency food supply available when you need it. You never know when the next power outage or natural disaster will happen. Are you prepared when it does? Go to Free America Radio Network website and click on the Store tab and get your emergency food supply now. Go to freeamericaradio.us. A natural disaster could happen at any time. Be prepared. Go to freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab to get your emergency food supply today. That's freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab and prepare in case something happens. Listen to the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from The Views Expressed. Please come join me on The Views Express Live, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. Hey, welcome to the Wayne S. Pierce Show. I was going to say the Views Expressed, but that's on later at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Free America Radio Network at freeamericaradio.us. This is the 2nd of July, 2014. Hello, this is the Wayne S. Pierce Show. I am yours truly. So it's amazing to me, let me just start off by saying this. It's amazing to me that if people don't want to talk about something, or, well, literally as Free America Radio Network does, shares the truth one fact at a time, if people don't want to accept the facts, accept the truth, they just, it's like talk to the hand and they walk away. They don't want to know. They don't care to know. They don't want to know. I tell people, okay, continue to stick your head in the sand because, hey, it's all you care about. And this Hobby Lobby decision from the Supreme Court in favor of Hobby Lobby, you've got immigrants that are coming over from Central America and Mexico just walking over with buses, and the federal government's just bringing them over and inviting them over. As a matter of fact, some are legal and most are not. But we got more to worry about than somebody who got pissed off, sued a company because they wouldn't cover a certain portion of their medical benefits. We got more to worry about than somebody who, is, concerned about, this whole business of what's that other thing that's going on now? Anyway, the point is, people gravitate to what is negative. Hello, have you figured out yet that Facebook did an experiment without your consent? They implemented an experiment without your consent. Yes, did you know that? Did you know that? They manipulated the feeds. That right there should tell you that there are trolls in Facebook that are posting stuff that get you to react to see where you would go and see what you would do so they can take your information and give it to the NSA. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding you at all. I'm going to say this, I've said it before, and it's worth repeating. I'm done with stupid people. You're going to put your hand up in my face and say, talk to the hand and walk away and not accept the truth or the facts? Well, walk away. Go ahead. I got nothing for you. Oh, I want to tell you what's going on, but you're not going to listen anyway because you don't want to. I want to say this as well. It is important that you listen. It is important that you understand. It is important that you do your own research, do your own work. It's very important that you do that. Very important. I cannot tell you exactly what to do because I find things that are best for me to do, and that's what you ought to do. And if you put up your hand in my face and say, talk to the hand and walk away, and if you think that's best for you, then have a nice day. Why am I bitter? Somebody might ask. I'm not bitter. I'm tired of people's BS. I'm tired of people misinterpreting things. I mean, here it is. I've done an experiment over 15 years ago. I did an experiment, and I watched myself and I watched others, and this is when I started putting information in people's face, about 15, 16 years ago. And I began to say, hey, did you hear this? Did you read this in the paper? Did you see this in, Popular Mechanics? Did you see this in, this article here in Scientific America? Did you? Yes, I do read those, folks. I used to do this. And guess what? Two things would happen. One, people would read the headlines. I would take the USA Today, the San Francisco Chronicle, the Sacramento Bee, the Modesto Bee, the Stockton Record. I would look at all of this. And I would say, hey, check this out. And I found out two things. One, people read the headlines and get pissed off, and their preconceived ideas go into overdrive. Second thing they do is they read the article, but because of their preconceived ideas, they've already got, as they say, I already know the story. Okay? You see where I'm going with this. So, if you think that this whole situation with Hobby Lobby and all that is over, think again. You think this whole thing with the immigration and the influx of illegal citizens is over? No, think again. Do you think that 50, 100, 200 people protesting and pushing buses back and pushing, BLM off of land or whatever is going to stop? No. They're just going to regroup and come back in droves. And as a matter of fact, they're going to come back with military and militarized law enforcement. Oh, and by the way, they're going to come back with Blackwater. Did you hear that news as well? Blackwater threatened State Department officials. Did you hear that one? Did you hear that a senator went to one of these facilities and was told he couldn't go in? Did you see that? Did you? Did you know that at some point, the whole issue of freedom is in question? Now, when I say at some point, I mean today, right now, the 2nd of July, 2014. And here's what I mean. Infowars.com. Bill would allow police to confiscate guns based on accusation alone. California's AB 1014 labeled most draconian gun control legislation in the country. I'm going to say this once and for all, and I'm going to point this directly at my family and my extended family in California. Get the hell out. California is done. California is toast. You will not ever have freedom in California ever again. Now, I can say that and yell at you and all that, and you'll say, oh, it's fine. It's okay. Because you're living inside the police state of California, and you're looking out and you have preconceived ideas that everything is just fantastic. While there are hundreds of people outside of California saying, you got to leave now. Look, you got to leave. I have personal experience with California. I was born and raised in Stockton, California. My cousin and I grew up in Stockton, California. He saw the writing on the wall, and he saw what was happening, and him and his wife moved back to her hometown in Texas. People are leaving California in droves. Okay? To my friends and family and extended family in California, get the hell out. Yes, parts of it are beautiful. The Bay Area is wonderful. The mountains are just extraordinary. But the politics sucks. Get out. And somebody's going to say, and I know this, somebody is going to say, well, why don't we just stick around and take care of this government, vote people out. Vote. Your votes don't count, folks. None of them do. They never have. It's going to take a non-violent, militant, peaceful movement to change that government. It might take a year, it might take 2, it might take 5, it might take 10. But it's time for Californians to do what they have to do to survive. Growing up as a kid, I watched my friends of every race that I knew of at that time, Mexican, black, Asian. I was a kid. I was 8, 9, 10 years old. I've watched my friends be inundated with racial slurs. Even me, a white guy. And I have had my friends die because of various aspects of that racially motivated hatred. Now, do you want to go further? Because I can. California is done. California is finished. Because the politics of that state has driven it into the toilet. And Governor Brown has pushed the handle. I don't give a crap if in the last 6 weeks or 6 months he's signed really good legislation and made it positive. No, the rest of it sucks. I should know. I'm a former Californian, born and raised and grew up in Stockton, California. So I don't want to hear it anymore. You Californians out there that are probably hearing me going, well, it's not that bad. Really? Seriously? Have you gotten out of your birdcage yet? Have you stepped outside to see what the real world is doing? Bill would allow police to confiscate guns based on accusation alone. California's AB 1014 labeled most draconian drug control legislation in the country. Paul Joseph Watson at Infowars.com. A draconian gun bill set to be voted on by the California legislature would allow police to confiscate a person's firearms solely on the basis of an accusation made against the gun owner by a family member or health professional. Your psychiatrist, folks. Or a doctor, or a health, now get this, a health professional. Although the bill was amended after an onslaught of complaints, the legislation is still being labeled as the harshest gun control law in the country. AB 1014, go look that up. AB 1014 authored by Assembly members Doss Williams and Nancy Skinner, would create a gun violence restraining orders that would allow police to proactively confiscate firearms and hold them for 1 year with no due process. That's the important part. No due process. We have a due process, folks. We have to follow it. It's the rule of law of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It would hold them for 1 year with no due process, merely based on an accusation made by an immediate family member, a law enforcement officer, or a health professional. Quote, this bill would allow a search warrant to be issued when the property or things to be seized are a firearm or firearms or ammunition that is in custody or control of or is owned or possessed by a person who is the subject of a gun violence restraining order and who is presently known to have in his or her custody and control or possession or to own a firearm or firearms or ammunition, states, unquote, states the bill. I read it so fast, I'm so frustrated, it pisses me off. By the way, did you know, I don't know, I don't have any follow-up on this, but you're going to now have to register your ammunition in California. You're going to have to register your ammunition in California. What? Yeah, you're going to have to register your ammunition. I'm going to put it to you this way, folks. We live in a massive police state. Every other country around the world has already declared that the United States is the biggest police state in the world. How do I know? Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin said at some point, and the gist of his comment was, the citizens of the United States of America better protect their freedoms. If that's kind of ironic coming from a communist leader to tell American citizens to protect their freedoms, something is wrong, folks. Something is drastically wrong. To all my friends and to all my friends here in Reno, Nevada, I want to say this. A question has been raised, and I'll go find it because I saw a post about it on Facebook, but I also saw other questions similar to this being bantered around as well, and it is, should citizens, specifically in Nevada, should we be able to walk around, or would it be possible to walk around with a firearm on our side? I say yes. Why? Second Amendment. Period. Done. Should businesses, now here's a bigger question for you Nevada folks, should businesses in Nevada discriminate against or completely suspend the Second Amendment in terms of their signs on the outside of their buildings? Now, if you go to any casino, you'll see cannot carry a gun in here, whatever, regardless of whether or not you have a license to carry it. Well, I talked to one of the security guards at one of the casinos here in Reno, and one of the hotels actually, and I said, well, if I wanted to stay here in a room, and I had my weapon, and I wanted to keep my weapon on me, should I call ahead, and what would you guys do? And you know what he said? Yeah, we can take your weapon and secure it in our safe. And I said, well, then how's that going to help me? And he just kind of had that look on his face like, well, that's what he had that look on his face like he had to read from a script or something. You know what I mean? But do businesses have a right to suspend your Second Amendment right? That's a bigger question. Do businesses have a right to suspend your Second Amendment rights? And this is not just in Nevada. This could be anywhere in the United States. I say no. And I say that because the example is, I believe it was in San Diego last year, a year before last, there was a jewelry store or a pawn shop, one of the two. I'm not quite I don't remember exactly quite which one it was. But I think two or three individuals came in, pulled their guns, and what they didn't expect was that everybody in that store was armed. They pulled theirs, and let's just say it wasn't a good day for the robbers. Okay? So the bottom line is, yes, we don't need to fork out any money to the state, to the county, to the city for me to get permission to pay for the permission to carry my weapon. I have a Second Amendment. That's my license. Period. Done. And I've said it before, if any state governor or state legislator proposes any gun control bills or laws in their state, they are treasonous against the Bill of Rights, and they are violating each and every person's Second Amendment rights. Period. Show me where I'm wrong. Show me where I'm wrong. You cannot pick and choose what laws you want to use, because the rule of law protects your convictions that you have within you that you believe passionately. That is how our founding fathers, I would believe, have set the Bill of Rights into motion. You have a conviction that you believe in God. Okay, you have the freedom to do that, First Amendment. But not only do you have a freedom to believe in God, you have a freedom to express that religious freedom. What? You want to get together with people and go out and protest on the corner? You have the freedom to do that. Peaceably assemble, First Amendment. Well, nowadays, in the last couple of days, we had this Hobby Lobby thing going on, and the Supreme Court sided with Hobby Lobby. So why don't I say this? You are an owner of a business. You are Christian, and your convictions say, your beliefs and convictions say, you do not pay for birth control pills, but you'll pay for other birth control items. But you won't pay for the birth control pill or even the R238, whatever it is, the morning after pill. You won't pay for that. Okay, that's your right. The Supreme Court said so, by the way, on Monday. So, get over it. Okay? Regardless of your personal beliefs, which are protected by the Bill of Rights of the Constitution of the United States of America, common sense prevails and should tell you, I lost this argument. Let me move on. But if you're not able to, and you just want to keep stirring the pot and trying to get your way, and in this case, try to get something for free and have somebody else pay for it, then you are absolutely and positively 100% and utterly wrong to do so. So again, accept the fact that you lost the argument and move on. Okay? I'm not going to talk about this anymore. I got something else to share with you after the break. But remember, you are responsible for you. Whatever information, anything that you do is on you. If you want birth control pills, Viagra, whatever, don't expect the company to pay for that. You go out and get it on your own. Don't like it? Don't care. That's the way it is. That's common sense. I don't want my company paying for, I don't want my company paying for my gym membership unless that is part of their personal package that they want to offer us. No. I mean, some companies do offer you that. I don't want my company offering, I don't want them paying for my, for my Twinkie addiction. You know what I'm saying? I don't have one. I'm just using that as an example. But freeamericaradio@usa.com is the email address. freeamericaradio.us is the website. Folks, I shall return right after this.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
I knew it. This is an alien, and you guys are from some government agency trying to keep it under wraps.
I can't take it anymore!
You've got troubles, Mac.
Did you know that the first Matrix was designed to be a perfect human world where none suffered, where everyone would be happy? And it was a disaster. No one would accept the program. Entire crops were lost. Some believed that we lacked the programming language to describe your perfect world, but I believe that as a species, human beings define their reality through misery and suffering. So the perfect world was a dream that your primitive cerebrum kept trying to wake up from. Which is why the Matrix was redesigned to this, the peak of your civilization.
So this is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
Sharing the truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network.
Hey folks, welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 2nd of July 2014. Yes, it's July already, folks. Can you believe that? Holy crap. It's July already. I don't know. I got more to share. So I'm going to get off of this, other stuff that I've been talking about. It all relates, though. Now, I do want to make you I don't want to make you understand. You can do whatever you want. I want to encourage you to accept the fact that all of this is related, okay? Let me highlight something here from Infowars.com. Bill would allow police to confiscate guns based on accusation alone. California's AB 1014, labeled the most draconian gun control legislation in the country. I'm going to put this up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. And and I'm also going to put this up on the Free America Radio Facebook page as well. To talk about this later on the Views Express Live today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Free America Radio Network at freeamericaradio.us. And there's a lot that people just cannot accept. Okay? There's a lot that people won't accept. To be totally honest with you, how can I put this? How can I put this and be nice all at the same time? People are dumb. That's just the way it is. People are stupid. And it really pushes people to the limit, to tell you the truth. It really does. I mean, think about it for a minute. First of all, this whole thing with Hobby Lobby. I shop there. They're a little expensive. I prefer Michael's. That's okay. It's an arts and crafts store. And people are pissed off at the fact that they won't cover certain things. And they're picking and choosing. Well, wouldn't you? If the bottom line of your company is to make money and not spend it. Well, not spend it on, The point is, folks, you've got a choice. And that choice is entirely up to you. You can either work for a company that doesn't cover anything for your benefits under a healthcare package, and you go get on Obamacare, which is a freaking nightmare in itself, or you go create your own company, get your own, or just go out from the company you work for and get your own health care, pay for it out of your own pocket, and go from there. Or how about this? Create your own company and piss off. Do whatever you want. Tell the other company you work for, I'm going to go do this. You guys aren't. But here's the bottom line, folks. People are selfish. They want things for free. I've heard myself, to my face, people say, if a company makes that kind of money, whatever kind of money they make, they should be able to pay for all of my health care benefits for 100%. And I shouldn't have to pay anything out of my check. Really? Think about that one. But also, if you're bitching about that, think about this. Breitbart.com. Second employee alleges Chase Bank surveyed staff's LGBT loyalty. Oh, check this one out. I'm going to put this one up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show. As a matter of fact, let me do it now so you can go check it out after you hear this. This is an interesting article as well. Sorry, a little something going on there. A second source has confirmed that J.P. Morgan Chase has asked each of its employees whether they are, quote, an ally of the LGBT community, unquote, which employees have taken as a veil threat. Veil threat. Each year, J.P. Morgan Chase sends its employees a survey asking questions related to management and other non-controversial issues. A longtime Chase employee told Professor Robert George of Princeton that the survey this year included the following questions for the first time. Are you, 1, a person with disabilities, 2, a person with a child with disabilities, 3, a person with a spouse, domestic partner with disabilities, 4, a member of the LGBT community, 5, an ally of the LGBT community, but not personally identifying as LGBT. This employee was alarmed to receive the final question. If he answered no, he feared he would be open to criticism that may affect his employment. Only a few months ago, Brandon Ike was hounded out of the CEO role at Mozilla for not supporting a LGBT marriage. The employee told Professor George he fears for his job. Quote, this survey wasn't anonymous. You had to enter your employee ID. With the way things are going and the fact that the LGBT rights are being viewed as pretty much tantamount to the civil rights movement of the mid-50s to late 60s, not selecting that option is essentially saying, quote, I'm not an ally of civil rights, unquote, which is a vague way of saying I'm a bigot. The worry among many of us is that those who didn't select that poorly placed irrelevant option will be placed on the, quote, you can fire these people first, unquote, list. unquote. After posting the item on the law blog Mirror of Justice, Professor George received skeptical emails and Facebook postings, so he came back to the Mirror of Justice for a second source. This source told him, quote, I just wanted to confirm the Chase employee survey. It did have the last two questions about being an LGBT ally. I have worked for Chase for a number of years and was blown away by this question. I have no idea what they were thinking when they asked that. If this is posted, please spare my identity, unquote. Breitbart News contacted the media relations office of J.P. Morgan Chase, and the spokesman Loretta Russo said, quote, we do not comment on internal surveys, unquote. I want everybody to know right now, I don't really care about your sexual orientation or what you do at home. You want to work for my company, I'm gonna pay you what that position is worth, not what I think you're worth in that position. Okay? To me, and this is only me, everybody has their own perspective about this whole thing. You want to work. I'm not there to get myself involved in your personal life. It's just not gonna... It's not my business. To be totally honest with you, it's not my business at all. I also want to say this about that if J.P. Morgan Chase, which have been sued for, let's just say, scrupulous financing, I'll just leave it at that. I look at it this way. J.P. Morgan Chase needs to be put out of business, period. Why? Let's see, can I list them? Now, who's going to do that? Well, they just need to voluntarily quit. That's all they need to do, because nobody has a right to go and close down their business. They've been sued left and right because of this whole mortgage debacle a few years ago, okay? Another article I have here, which I'm going to put up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page, is from youngcons.com, the Young Conservatives. Target just did something that will infuriate half of the country. David Ruffel posted this today. Target will no longer allow customers to carry firearms in their stores, quote, even in communities where it is permitted by law, unquote. Well, excuse me. Target just became a way less safer place to shop in. They might as well place a giant sign in front of the store telling criminals that everyone inside is unarmed. Interim CEO John Mulligan's decision released today, quote, as you've likely seen in the media, there has been a debate about whether guests in communities that permit open carry should be allowed to bring firearms into Target stores. Our approach has always been to follow local laws, and of course, we will continue to do so. But starting today, we will also respectfully request that guests not bring firearms to Target, even in communities where it is permitted by law. We've listened carefully to the nuances of this debate and respect the protected rights of everyone involved. In return, we are asking for help in fulfilling our goal to create an atmosphere that is safe and inviting for our guests and team members. This is a complicated issue, but it boils down to a simple belief. Bring firearms to Target creates an environment that is at odds with the family-friendly shopping and work experience we strive to create. Okay? I'm putting this up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show site on the Facebook. I believe, see, I was just talking about that. Should a company suspend your Second Amendment rights? No. But as this says, he respectfully requests, say no. Say no. Just walk in there anyway. Now, if families want to leave and if Target wants to, do whatever they want to do, then that's what they're going to do. Okay? But I'm telling you right now, it is a very controversial issue. It is very, very controversial. A lot of people, it's a hot button issue. But I don't think, no, I believe that businesses are violating Second Amendment right laws and civil rights of the patrons that come into their stores. If they say, don't bring your firearms here, or we respectfully request that you do not, well, they're in complete violation of Second Amendment rights. They're basically not only they should put a sign like the guy says, like the person says, put a sign on the front saying, hey, criminals, everybody in here is unarmed. Why don't they put another one on there that says, oh, gun owners, we don't give a crap about you. Don't shop here. Okay? Have you ever noticed that there's no, in the sporting goods section of Target, there's no weapons? You notice that? Okay. Just remember that next time you go into a Target. Anyway, folks, I'm boiling down to the last few minutes of the show. For the last few minutes of the podcast. And I want to tell you, this is a podcast. There won't be a live show today, and I kind of like doing the podcasts. Those are kind of neat. I've got 2-minute commentaries that I do, so you might want to check those out. I kind of intermix them into the shows and stuff, but I do. I might upload them, and go from there. But anyway, this AB 1014 is a very, very dangerous assembly bill that is in California right now. Very, very dangerous. And if people don't get up off their ass and go put the Constitution in front of Jerry Brown's face and show him the Second Amendment, you guys are all pussies. Yeah, I said it. What are you going to do? Huh? What are you going to do? You can't do a damn thing because, hey, you know I'm right. I know I'm stirring the pot, but, gets a little hotter, starts bubbling, and I got to make sure the crap don't stick at the bottom of the pot, you know what I mean? But anyway, folks, enough of my rambling. Enough of my rambling. I shall move on to drudgereport.com. There was an article here that I wanted to talk about that I saw earlier. Man arrested for cruelty to rats. I'm not going to read that one, but I will read this one. Court strikes down cyberbullying law. WallStreetJournal.com or online.wsj.com. Joe Palazzolo. Sorry, Joe. Didn't mean to butcher your last name. Wall Street Journal. New York court strikes down cyberbullying law, ruling laud's intent of legislation but sees it as too broad, violating First Amendment. New York's top court struck down a law that made cyberbullying a crime in what had been viewed as a test case of recent state and local statutes that target online speech. The New York Court of Appeals, in a 5-2 ruling, held on Tuesday that the 2010 Albany County law prohibited a vast swath of speech, quote, far beyond the cyberbullying of children, unquote, in violation of the First Amendment. The court's ruling could stand as a guidepost for other state high courts hearing challenges to such laws, as well as for states and localities considering criminal penalties for cyberbullying, legal experts said. Besides Albany, 4 other New York counties and more than a dozen states including Louisiana and North Carolina, have similar laws. The Albany law made it a crime to electronically communicate, quote, private, personal, false, and sexual information, unquote, intended to, quote, harass, annoy, threaten, abuse, taunt, intimidate, torment, humiliate, and otherwise inflict significant emotional harm on another person, unquote, for no legitimate purpose. In other words, you're bullying people. You don't have a purpose. You just want to bully people because you're an ass. I believe it's Coho's high school student, Marquand M. Mackey Meggs, was the first to be charged under the law after the then 15-year-old created a Facebook page in 2010 called Coho's Flame and posted photos of other teenagers with captions that included graphic and sexual comments, included, well, let me read that again because this is very important, folks. This 15-year-old created a page on Facebook, Coho Flames, and posted photos of other teenagers with captions that included graphic and sexual comments, according to court documents. He pleaded guilty on the condition that he could challenge the constitutionality of the law. Isn't that interesting? Judge Victoria Graffio, writing for the majority, described the post as, quote, repulsive and harmful, unquote, but declined the county's request to uphold the law in a form of but declined the request to uphold the law in a form that would have barred narrow categories of electronic communication, including sexually explicit photographs and private or personal sexual information sent with the intent to harm. This is a judge that did this. Let me read that again so you can wrap your mind around this, neuro-linguistic programming here, okay? That this Wall Street Journal article has. Judge Victoria Graffio, writing for the majority, described the post as, quote, repulsive and harmful, unquote, but declined the county's request to uphold the law in a form that would have barred narrow categories of electronic communications, including sexually explicit photographs and private or personal sexual information sent with the intent to harm. So you have to really look at that and decipher what they're saying there. If you're, myself, and I'm interpreting this as saying, yeah, you can send naked selfies all you want to your friends, but don't send stuff that's going to, with the intent to harm anyone, that's going to bully anybody. Are you out of your freaking mind? That's just my thought. But now, she also said, I believe she said, yes, she said, the judge, Victoria Graffio, quote, even if the First Amendment allows a cyberbullying statute of the limited nature proposed by Albany County, the local law here was not drafted in that manner, unquote, she said. In other words, if the law didn't state it specifically that you can't do it, then you can do it. Am I getting that right? Despite the ruling, Judge Graffio lauded the motivation behind the law and allowed that the First Amendment, quote, permits the prohibition of cyberbullying directed at children depending on how that activity is defined, unquote. Read that again, folks. Permits the prohibition. She lauded this. She applauded this. This is what she liked. Permits the prohibition of cyberbullying directed at children depending on how the activity is defined, unquote. County Executive Daniel P. McCoy said he was disappointed with the court's ruling, but would work with the county legislature to graft a new law that, quote, addresses this decision and preserves our ability to do what we can to reduce cyberbullying of children, unquote. Quote, cyberbullying is a serious concern that all communities must confront, but there are better and more constructive ways to address the problem than giving children criminal records, unquote. Okay, I can agree with that, said Corey Stoughton of New York Civil Liberties Union, which represents Mr. Mackie Meggs. Quote, communities across New York and the nation should take note that criminalizing First Amendment activity is unlawful and does nothing to address the causes of bullying, unquote. I can agree with that. Judge Robert Smith, writing in dissent, said the majority made too much of flaws in the law's draftsmanship. Quote, the crux of the case, in my view, this is what Judge Robert Smith says, the crux of the case, in my view, is whether Albany County constitutionally may do what it is trying to do to prohibit certain kinds of communication that have no legitimate purpose and are intended to inflict significant emotional injury on the children, unquote, he said. If, as in Mr. Mackie Meggs' case, the communications targeted by the law are of no public importance, then New York's law should be deemed valid, he said. So, what do you think of that one? I'm going to put that one up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page as well, because it's important. It really is. And I'm going to put this up on Free America Radio Facebook page as well. You can come join me on the Views Expressed live today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we'll talk about this and a few other things as well, because, man, have things been changing rapidly. Okay? Holy crap. I mean, I cannot tell you, well, I'll just put it to you this way. As I've said before, things seemingly change every 5 minutes. Okay? They do. Okay? My question is how are you going to keep up? How are you going to keep up? I mean, you know, you got your day, you got your work, you got your family, you got to take the kids to wherever they got to go. And so how are you going to keep up? If things change seemingly every 5 minutes, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know, with the draconian gun legislation proposal in California, AB 1014, and this stuff going on in New York, I'm not surprised that the country didn't fall apart years ago because of this crap. You know? I mean, what's it going to take for people to get a swift kick in the ass to wake up? What is it going to take? Is it going to take something like taking your rights away for you to realize that people like myself were right? You know what I mean? I don't know. That's... Anyway. Come join me on the Views Express live today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern at freeamericaradio.us. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me, freeamericaradio@usa.com is the email address, freeamericaradio@usa.com. And, of course, go listen to Brian Lang over at livetruthradio.com, and go listen to Bob Brutus at wakingupthemasses.com. He has his show over there, Waking Up the Masses. Check that out as well. Today on the Views Express Live, I have to confirm, but I may have a guest on today on the Views Express Live, and you're going to have to come check it out. 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right there at freeamericaradio.us, or you can find Free America Radio Network on Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com, and check it out. And, yeah. So what are you going to do today on this Wednesday hump day, the 2nd of July, 2014? We got the 4th of July coming up on Friday. And it's not about independence anymore. It's about restoring the republic. So let's think about that one. Instead of creating an independent country, which we already have, why don't we just start looking into restoring the Republic. That's better, isn't it? Go watch your fireworks, enjoy yourself, and be safe out there. Come join me on the Views Express Live today, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on freeamericaradio.us.